and welcome to Top of the Line. My name is Nick Lynch.
And I'm Ben Heltzer.
And today we are going to be talking about a few things that happened during Week 14 of the NFL, including division leaders, a heated playoff race, and our picks for Game of the Week. So let's get started. So, Ben, the Kansas City Chiefs lose again to the Buffalo Bills, and this time it was a costly, very costly offside to the Chiefs on Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about the Chiefs and the Bills, but it seems like, the Chiefs can't win in the regular season and the Bills can't win in the playoffs. But this one was really defined by just a bad offensive penalty on really was one of the best plays of the year by Kelsey. I mean, what a lateral. But it just shows that, Mahomes isn't getting a lot of help. And I think he was out of line when he, complained to Josh Allen's face instead of, congratulating him. But I kind of feel for him in a way because, he's doing well, but he's not getting a lot of help.
Yeah, with Patrick Mahomes, he later apologized to Josh Allen for his outburst. He said that it had nothing to do with him, and I take back the actions that I said. But since 2020, the Chiefs have not beaten the Bills in the regular season. But with Patrick Mahomes, he went off on the referees. It's almost like he went off on the referees because he's scared to go off on his receivers.
Yeah, and I kind of feel that too, but at some point he's going to have to, start saying stuff to them because it's not the referee's fault. It was a blatant penalty, and he even doubled down in his press conference saying that the refs made a mistake when it was a clear offsides on Toney. But I'm just excited to see, if they do play again in the playoffs, what will happen.
Yeah, at first the play when Travis Kelce lateraled it to Kadarius Toney and he ran it in for a touchdown, and then I saw the flag and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't a touchdown just yet. And it was at the beginning of the play, so I thought it was defensive offside. And when the referee made the call, I was like, when he said offside, I was like, oh, okay, it's defensive offside. And then he said offense, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. I was feeling the same way, and it just shows that, Toney is a complete liability to this team. He had a bad drop earlier in the game, and he just capped it off with a terrible offsides penalty that, offensive offsides are so rare, and for it to happen that late in the game in that, crucial of a moment is just a bad look for Toney.
That was a huge win for the Buffalo Bills. Now with that, they are tied for second place in the AFC wildcard. They're 2 games back in the AFC East with that. Miami Dolphins lost to Tennessee. But moving on to that, the Dolphins lose to the Titans. They're up by 14 with less than 3 minutes left.
Yeah, it was a terrible look and a terrible loss for Miami. Tennessee gave them, so many chances to win, and they just couldn't close it out. Will Levis leading an incredible comeback. And, the AFC South as a whole isn't as bad as we thought, but I feel like that Week 18 game between Miami and Buffalo is going to be for the division, and it'll be a great game to watch.
The Dolphins aren't too concerned right now, but they should be.
I'd be a little concerned if I was a Dolphins fan.
I mean, yeah, because you're only up by 2 games, and there's still 4 weeks left.
And you still have to play Dallas and Baltimore, which are probably 2 losses because they can't beat a team over 500. No. And then they have to play Buffalo Week 18. It is at home, but they got embarrassed last time they played, so it should be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. And then the other Monday night game, the Green Bay Packers lose to the New York Giants. Matt LaFleur's first loss in the month of December coaching the Green Bay Packers. And Tommy DeVito for the Giants just came out this morning that he won NFL Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, and they're undefeated with DeVito at the helm. And I think that, if they don't get a star QB in the draft, which their pick is going down, so I don't know if they will. I think that, they'll be okay for at least another season with DeVito, and I want to see how he develops, so I'm happy for him.
Now, I'm going to correct you here. I hope you don't mind, but Tommy DeVito is 3-1 as a starter with that loss to Dallas, his first start. But he has won 3 straight.
That. But it's Dallas. You're not going to beat Dallas.
Yeah, but he has won 3 straight for the Giants, so I'm interested to see where the Giants go to finish off the season. But so moving on, the Dallas Cowboys again beat the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night.
I don't know what's going on with Philadelphia. I mean, they lost 2 straight, and they were both against like great teams. Like the Niners and the Cowboys are easily top 5, top 3 probably in the NFL. But the Eagles couldn't even make it competitive, and I don't know what's going on with them. I think that they will bounce back and have a deep playoff push, but I'm not seeing the Super Bowl caliber team that I saw in weeks past.
I agree. After I saw the score of that game, I'm like I was basically like Jalen Hurts that one game after the game. He was like, what do you want me to say?
I don't know. Yeah, no emotion from Hurts, as we are accustomed to. But I think that Philadelphia is in a weird spot right now because they don't have the division lead anymore. It goes to Dallas. They have the tiebreaker. But Dallas does have a game against Buffalo and a game against Miami coming up. And Philadelphia has a really easy, last stretch of games. So I think that, they'll come back and maybe even win the division.
The Eagles lose by 20-plus points in back-to-back games, the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. They also have not won in Dallas since 2017 was their last win against the Cowboys in Dallas. But with the Eagles, like you said, they lose the division lead. But do you think for the Cowboys that Dak Prescott is good enough to win MVP if he takes the Cowboys far into the playoffs?
100%. He's the clear front runner right now. And I think that if they do lock up the division and get a high seed, even if they don't, he'll still probably get it. But if they do, he'll 100% get it.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the AFC playoff picture, it's heating up. We have 6 teams at 7-6. As we all know, the Ravens have a comfortable lead for now in the AFC North. The Miami Dolphins second in leading the AFC East. Kansas City third, leading the West. And then Jacksonville leading the South. But we have 6 teams at 7-6 behind Cleveland, who's 8-5. And for the Browns, Joe Flacco, he does not lose in Cleveland. His last win before, obviously, this week, came with the Jets last season, and that win was in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I think it just, it goes to show how, what Kevin Stefanski is able to do without Nick Chubb, without Deshaun Watson, with missing key players on defense. He's a prime candidate for Coach of the Year for me. But I think that, with Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Houston, Indy, and Denver, all 7-6. It's going to be a really tight race for the wild card spots. And I'm just excited to see who ends up getting them.
I agree. So let's just say the Cleveland Browns are the 5th seed to end the regular season. Who would be your 2 out of the 7-6 teams to make the playoffs?
I mean, I would say Pittsburgh, but they just took 2 terrible losses, and they look not good right now. So I'm actually going to go with Denver and Buffalo. That might just be the fan of me talking. But anyway, let's move on to Game of the Week. There were a lot of good games this week, but what was your pick?
I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not just saying this as a Giants fan here, but it's got to be the Packers and the Giants game. I mean, even if you weren't a fan of both teams, the Giants or the Packers, it was still a great game to watch.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That comeback or that game-winning drive led by DeVito was great. But I'm gonna go with I'm actually gonna go with the Dolphins the Dolphins Titans game because I think that it was a great comeback by Tennessee, both on Monday night, prime time, everyone's watching, and I think that it was just exciting to watch.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, I didn't watch much of the game because I was actually at the game for the Giants, so I didn't get to see a snap of the Tennessee-Miami game. The only thing I did hear was that Tyreek Hill got hurt, and
I don't know how that's going to affect them moving forward, but I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think that Mike McDaniel is too concerned about that right now for his Miami Dolphins team.
No.
You have Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, a lot of weapons on that Miami team. Well, that's going to be all for the NFL today. But when we come back, Noah and Matt will go over what happened this week in college football. So stay right here.
Hello, and welcome back to Top of the Line. A very quiet week of college football, but one of the best traditions and rivalries in sports occurred over the weekend. So let's talk about it. I mean, is anything better than Army-Navy? Points are at a premium, and every play is a rugby scum. An absolute battle between the two teams. Army came out on top, 17 to 11, in a thriller. But the score and the games are irrelevant in how great the tradition is. What were your thoughts, Noah?
Always a great tradition, Army-Navy, always great games no matter what the score is. I thought this was a pretty good one. I thought this very much caught my attention. A very great game, as you said, a rugby scrum, every play just must watch. And I thought it was great football, honestly. I had a fun time watching it. And obviously, such a great tradition they carry on.
This upcoming week, Boise State versus UCLA has the potential to be a good game. But in my mind, the biggest news of the week will be the transfer portal. Dylan Gabriel is the pick that caught my eye the most. Noah, give me some thoughts on the transfer portal and how you feel about the players leaving before bowl games.
So Dylan Gabriel going to Oregon. Oregon, Bo Nix leaving, he's like 25. But that was a good pickup. I like that for them. Dylan Gabriel, obviously the Oklahoma quarterback. Oklahoma's a very up-and-down team. But they were not bad nonetheless, and he was a big part of why they were good. Also, the biggest one, obviously, Kyle McCord, Ohio State quarterback, going into the transfer portal, leaving one of the best schools in the nation. I mean, to me, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't think any bigger school will want to pick him up. I think he'll just have to go to a smaller school if he wants to leave, truly. But I think he might go back to Ohio State. I mean, I think this is just, something to attract to, media and, outlook social media and stuff like that. But, honestly, McCord is the biggest one. And I feel as if he might go to a smaller school and just to do better. And I'm just telling you right now, Rutgers might be that school. I mean, Rutgers, it's not that they need a quarterback, but it'd be cool to have one. And cool to have a guy, the skill set of Kyle McCord, especially in that Big Ten division, which is only getting bigger now. With, I think, Washington moving there, Oregon moving there. Who else is moving there? I think there is another team moving there, but you get the point. That Big Ten is just going to get even stronger after this offseason. So, I think McCord is 100% the biggest one there.
Well, that's all we have for college football today, but don't go anywhere because next up, Noah and Rocco will be talking about wrestling.
Hello, and welcome to this wrestling segment of Top of the Line. As always, I'm Noah Muller.
Rocco Coppola along with you.
And today we will take a look at what happened on the most recent editions of Raw and SmackDown. So without further ado, let's get ready to rumble. So, Rocco, this past Friday on SmackDown, we had the Tribute of the Troops edition of SmackDown, that coming with the dedication of our country to all of our Army and Navy troops. I thought it was a great tribute, honestly. What did you think of it?
Yeah, they always know how to deliver it on the tribute to the troops, and I love how they do this annually. I'm so glad they brought it back. I love watching these editions. And just a shout out to our military, our Navy, our Marines, our Army as a whole. They put their bodies on the line for us every day, every hour, every second. So it's something that most of us honestly take for granted, and we really shouldn't. We should really be grateful. And I feel like this is just a good way of showing them that respect.
Yeah, definitely such a blessed country we get to live in the United States.
God bless.
So on that episode, I'm going to let you rant a little bit here. Karrion Kross coming back for the first time in, I want to say, a couple months, just straight up loses. In the U.S. tournament first round of Bobby Lashley. I mean, I get it. Lashley was in the Army. It's a good honor to him. He was more like a face in that because, all the troops are going to root for him, obviously, and everyone just loves Bobby. But having Kross lose or putting him in a spot to lose, I just didn't like it. He just needs to be booked so much better. He needs to be booked, in general. What do you think of it, Rocco?
He had an attire recolor, and he lost. He comes back after months, and he loses. I like Bobby Lashley, but, like, come on, man. Hunter, you have a future star who could be a star right in front of you. But, no, let's just keep him losing. This is what we're going to do every week on Friday Night SmackDown because I got nothing else better to do for him. Karrion Kross is a megastar in the making. I said it here first. Again, I want him to be pushed to the moon. Like, just do it already. Tired of seeing him lose. Tell you what, ever since coming back to WWE a year and a half ago, a little less, his record is 5-24 on the main roster. 5-24. Is that not a joke to you?
It's a joke to me.
Is that not a joke to you?
It's horrible.
We're seeing other guys that are winning more. Even Dragon Lee almost has more wins than him. He's been on the main roster for not even a month. Like, what are we doing? I want Karrion Kross in the world title picture. I said it. Karrion Kross in the world title picture. Make him. I wanted him to win the United States title, but oh my goodness, I can't even describe how bad he's gotten, and he's so good. He's got the theme song, the look, the wife, and he's got everything, the tools. The promo work is incredible. So if you can't find anything to do for him, send him back to NXT and let him win the title there. Let him rebrand. No, I take it back. Don't let him rebrand. Keep him. Shave your hair bald again if you have to. And win the title. I don't care who it is. If Ilya Dragunov can get out of here. Go to the main roster. Like, your time's up.
Yeah, I think he should shave bald again, honestly. I think that would help him. I think Hunter would like him more if he shaved bald. I don't know, Rocco. It's a tough spot to be put in. Moving on here, CM Punk made his first appearance on SmackDown in just about 10 years, and it was a good one. I mean, he made a bunch of call-outs. This is how his first promo should have been. That should have been his first promo. His first promo was, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have any time crunches this time, and he wasn't on a time crunch, so he had more freedom to say what he wanted, and he had more time. And I noticed with CM Punk, he's happy to be back home. He's happy to be back in WWE. I'm glad AJ's doing well, according to his words, when he came back on Raw last week. But CM Punk now, it's best for business that he's back. And the promo was excellent. Calling out guys like CM Punk, even Roman Reigns. We're going to get that match in the future. Just you wait. So I feel like with CM Punk now, there's windows of opportunity for all these young guys, for all these rising stars. And it gives them a chance to really make their names. Because CM Punk is a household name. Like, let's not sugarcoat that. I don't care what Tony Khan did in AEW to him or what he did. Listen, Tony Khan, he's going to ruin AEW. Not CM Punk, not Bryan Danielson, not Hangman Adam Page or Kenny Omega. It's going to be Tony Khan. But we're not talking about Tony Khan. We're talking about CM Punk. CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen, is that guy. And when you see him every week, you better make sure you pay attention to the TV.
Yeah, it's very evident that after his first promo on Raw, everyone was like getting mad, or like AEW fans were getting very like, oh, he's very like controlled in what he says.
Yeah, but that's AEW fans, and AEW fans are not really. Yeah. I can't say it on air.
No, but it was very evident that they just gave him an open mic and said, say whatever you want to say, like you have the time to.
Yeah, but here now he's like having more fun, and you can just see it. Yeah. Now, like, while we're on the topic of CM Punk, I guess we should mention last night's Raw and transition over there. Seth Rollins and CM Punk finally met, baby. Let's go.
Dude, I'm so invested in this.
Me too.
This is our Mania match.
Oh, my goodness. I can't wait for WrestleMania if they actually go through with this. You could just sense the bad blood is right there. It's going to be a moneymaker match. Seth is still putting out good performances. Punk can probably still go. This is just a recipe for success for Hunter. WrestleMania 40 in Philly, under the lights. I could just see it now. CM Punk winning the world title after 10 years gone. It's full circle. And it's right there. And I'm so mad that I didn't get to see this live last night because I was too busy watching Tommy DeVito cook up the Packers and watching the Dolphins blow a lead against the Titans. So fun to watch that. But CM Punk, chef's kiss. So good on the mic.
Little intervention there from the NFL. But, yeah, there was so much that happened with Punk last night. I mean, the guy signs with Raw. Rollins comes out. Rollins has the promo of his life, I'd say. Then Punk just says, "Are you done?" Punk enters the Royal Rumble, and that was that. And that was only the first encounter. There's so much to see here. This is a whole book and we're just on page 1, which is insane to think.
No kidding.
So another match that went down last night, Maxine Dupree versus Rhea Ripley. Honestly, I don't know why this was booked, Rocco. I really couldn't tell you. But Dupree just looked horrible. And I don't even think it's her fault.
Goodness.
I just think they put her in such a big spot with no experience. She should be having, like, NXT feuds.
She wasn't ready.
Yeah, they already introduced Alpha Academy to NXT.
I just got to say it blatantly. She wasn't ready. She was not ready for that spotlight. She was not ready for that match. And Rhea Ripley's good. And I think Maxine Dupree is good. But she's not ready for that just yet. I think people that are ready for Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan when she comes back. And yes, Liv Morgan's going to come back. I'd say Shotzi should even get a shot. Bailey. I think even Nikita Lyons could do well, honestly. Tiffany Stratton. That's a nice match we could see on the road. I want to see Becky versus Rhea, though, and I hate Becky Lynch.
Yeah, there's so much to uncover here. Speaking of Becky Lynch, her and Rollins' contracts, everyone's talking about it. They're up in June 2024. I don't think anything happens with that, though.
And
They'll resign.
don't even pay attention to that, dude. Like, there's no reason to. They're not leaving. They're WWE for life.
Yeah.
Like, don't even like get on that topic.
Yeah. So when Punk encountered McIntyre and a bunch of other people backstage, mostly McIntyre, after McIntyre said, "I don't care about your story," walked by, Pierce said, "I thought he'd be happy. I just gave him a world title match versus Rollins at the Day 1 edition of Monday Night Raw." So January 1st, Monday Night Raw, it'll be Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins in, assumingly, the main event of that episode.
It's got to be.
That's just phenomenal, man. I don't expect Drew to win it because I think they're going to keep this Seth Punk storyline going until Mania. But it's going to be a great match, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be
Yes,
amazing.
sir. Drew McIntyre finally getting another world title match, and he's going to lose again. Obviously, I have a problem with that, but I guess that's what happens when the best in the world comes back to the biggest company in the world. And so, that's bound to happen. But with McIntyre, I think he should just try to... Honestly, it's tough. I don't really know what else he could do at this point. He might just have to take a backseat again, and I don't really know if I want that to happen. That's the unfortunate thing.
I think he takes a backseat for a little while. Then Punk wins the title in Mania. And then Punk has like a short run, but loses it immediately to Drew McIntyre.
I mean, maybe they're trying to set up a triple threat at WrestleMania. Could be a possibility.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just think that's too many stories colliding. And I think
It could be. But then again, I feel like Punk versus Rollins might be a little too obvious and a little too cheesy. They might want to throw something in there. Maybe Roman Reigns gets involved somehow. You know him. You know Roman Reigns can show up anywhere. And tune in this week on Friday. Roman Reigns, ladies and gentlemen, he's coming back.
For the first time in forever, Roman Reigns finally returning. All right, so one last thing. NXT Deadline. This past Saturday, I want to say.
Yeah.
It was great. I just want to highlight 2 matches, though. The men and women's Iron Survivor matches. I mean...
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Great. Everyone showed out in that match. There was not one bad... I mean, I thought Josh Briggs and, Fallon Henley, I didn't think they were going to be the best. They did great, actually. I wasn't expecting
They were
that.
awesome.
Josh Briggs was doing moonsaults off the top rope. And, all the other competitors, Braun Breaker, Dijak, Tiffany Stratton, Lash Legend did amazing.
That was so awesome.
Yeah.
I want Tiffany Stratton to go to the main roster already. I think she's ready. I think she's more than capable of hanging with the top girls in the division. I feel like she could have a big push. I want to see some Jade Cargill, though. I know she's not going to NXT, but we need to see some Tiffany Stratton, and we need to see some Jade Cargill. Shake up the women's division a little bit. I just want to see something a little different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, change it up. I feel like a change of scenery would do them so well.
Yeah, I thought overall, though, great PLE. Honestly,
Yeah.
better than any NXT PLE, better than any AEW PLE that I've seen in the last while.
AEW.
Since All In, basically. But
AEW's just become a joke.
Yeah.
What a great week for wrestling.
Yeah. That's going to do us. That's going to do it for us in the wrestling world. But don't go anywhere. As next, Andrew and Mark will be going over the Premier League on Top of the Line.
Hello, I'm Rocco Baldino,
And I'm Mirzaaghasi.
and today we'll be covering this week's games in the Premier League.
So we have week 15 to 16. I would like to take back my statement about Aston Villa from the last episode because they have declared war on Man City and we have lost 1-0. And I'm very upset about that.
So in the last episode, we were talking about Aston Villa a little bit more. But now we got to talk about them a lot. Because
Yes.
they're in third place right now, and they just recently beat Manchester City and Arsenal.
That is quite a shock that they beat like the top 3 teams at that time. But now I'm very upset that we could have at least won this game because it was by 1 goal, and I'm very upset.
I mean, at least Manchester City beat Luton Town.
Yep.
Close game for some reason, but
At
yeah,
least we
Luton
beat
Town's been doing
them.
good this season, surprisingly. Like, coming into the Premier League, pretty new team. They're doing pretty well, even though they're in relegation right now.
You know what's a team that's probably not doing that well?
Don't say it.
I
Alright, you
will-
can say
I
it.
will- I
You
will
can
have to say
it. Go ahead, say it.
Chelsea has been getting back-to-back losses. And by that, I mean they lost to Man United and they lost to Everton. How do you lose to Everton? They are in the bottom of the league right now, and you lost to them 2-0. How did you lose it? Honestly, tell me how.
If you just watch our performance, it's terrible. And let's go back to Manchester United Chelsea game. After Man United scored their second goal, it just got ugly. Like turnovers and just bad mistakes constantly. And the amount of money we spend on this team to get these new players and to perform like that, it's terrible. The only players that we have left of like the original team, Thiago Silva and Reece James. It's a whole new team now.
Whole new team, and they lost to Everton.
Yeah,
2-0. They didn't even score. That's how embarrassing your team is.
Yeah, keep making fun of me. Keep going. I know.
I wonder how your friend will think about right now.
Yeah, I know. Evan, we interviewed him a while ago. He's definitely happy about that win.
Yeah, he's most certainly happy because of that. Because of this losing streak, hopefully they can recover from it, or they're just gonna keep tumbling down.
Cause I don't know what happened. Like after the Tottenham win, they were getting something back, and then down they go again.
Yeah, down they go again. Don't know what's gonna happen for them in the near future. So for Liverpool, they will get back-to-back wins, as in Week 15 they would win against Sheffield United 2-0, as they had a lot. This game had a lot of challenge opportunities, but they were mostly turned down. I was quite surprised because they had like a lot of challenge. VAR was brought a lot. Ref calls were almost called. It was a little bit weird. But then in Week 16 they won against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace was in the lead, however, because of a red card being called because of another yellow card, they were 10 men down. I feel like that was the downfall for Crystal Palace winning and Liverpool taking over for a win.
I'm pretty sure. Was it Liverpool who got the red card?
No, it's Crystal Palace.
Really? Well, good comeback win from Liverpool then. It was a close game though.
I guess it was a close game if you could think about it. So now we would have Tottenham having a balance with a loss and a win. In Week 15, they would lose to West Ham 2-1. This game, I actually watched in full, and I found it very entertaining of how West Ham scored these goals. The first goal, Romero and Davies was trying to defend the goal. However, they didn't try at all, and Bowen scored. I felt like when the pass was made, they acted like bumpers from a pinball game, and it just went straight to Bowen.
Yeah, it was very fortunate for him to for that ball to land right in front of him.
Yeah.
To finish.
Then the second one. The second goal that Western Ham did was, I would say that it was the definition of third time's the charm, because what happened was that Bowen was trying to score again. However, the goalie went in front, tried to get the ball. He failed to do so. Then what happened was that Warden Prowse kicked it. It hit the post, sadly. However, it angled it back to him, and then he kicked it again and he made the goal. So I found that to be very funny, of course. So.
Yeah, West Ham with a victory, and then Tottenham with another loss on their hand.
Yeah. However, they did win against Newcastle 4-1.
This was a pretty big win for them. 4-1 against Newcastle was not easy, and they just showed it right there in that game.
They really showed it in that game, and most definitely. And they were also pretty smooth too, especially with Richardson scoring twice. I say that their goal opportunities were pretty smooth, I would say. So for standings, in first place we will have Liverpool with 37 points.
So where did Liverpool come from? Like, all of a sudden, first place now.
Yep, all of a sudden first place. Makes no sense to me. In second place, Arsenal with 36 points. Because of their loss with Aston Villa, it dropped them to second. So, good for Aston Villa, but bad for me, or I should say bad for Man City.
Yep.
Third place for Aston Villa, like I said, 35 points. In fourth place, Man City with 33 points. How we have fallen to fourth. And, of course, at fifth place, still standing there, Tottenham with 30 points.
The table has completely changed for the top 5.
It really has.
It's really moving around and has really changed.
It has really changed because of, like, the upsets. Aston Villa. It's a big mess. I don't know where the season is going to go to. Honestly, I have no clue.
We'll see. Thanks for watching. Tune in for next week on a recap of NFL and college football games, results of SmackDown and Monday Night Raw from the WWE, and continued coverage of the Premier League. All and more on the next episode of Top of the Line.